Matt, first of all, how do you reflect on the defeat to Huddersfield? Obviously, you went down 18-0 at the start of the game. Do you feel like you left yourself too much of a mountain to climb in the end?
Yeah, I think that's why I were so disappointed after the game. If I'm honest with you, Pete, it were how sloppy we were at the start of the game. You know, for the standard that we'd set all year. You know, I definitely don't want to take anything away from Huddersfield because they were fantastic. I just felt we gifted them definitely the first two tries and probably the third and fourth. And I don't want us to be that team, and we're not that team. And I think that was just stuck in my head after the game. So it was something we addressed after after the dust had settled, and I'm pretty confident that's not going to happen again, and we've learned his lesson and we can move forward now into a cup final. But it's fair to say a disappointed loss. We've prided ourselves so far this year on our never say die attitude and being the hardest working team on the field, and I don't think we shone the best light on ourselves in that sense on last week's game. But I also kind of admire how we did fight ourselves back into the game, and going in at 18-8 at half time, we were still all very confident that get a bit of momentum on our side, and how we like to play, that we could turn that around. And I just thought again a sloppy start to the half took a bit of wind out of ourselves. So I think that's what disappointed me more, but I'm also full of belief in this group, and I know that they were as disappointed as me. We know we let ourselves down, and the beauty of team sport is that you get another chance the next week, and luckily for us we're in a quarter final, and what an occasion to bounce back on.
And I think maybe the first score after half time would have been all important in terms of that comeback and momentum, having got two scores and, as you said, got almost back within touching distance after that poor start. Did you feel like the first score after the break was going to be the all important one?
I thought it were a big one, definitely, in terms of the context of the game, and I think that's what had disappointed me so much after the game. I'm normally pretty level-headed after a game, but I also, straight away I knew where we'd let ourselves down, and then to be fair, the playing group knew where we'd let ourselves down as well. As I've said all along, I can understand a loss if we've given it everything and we've come up just short, such as the Wakefield one the week before. One thing that I'll never accept, and I know I've got a playing group that won't accept it too, is where we don't feel we've hit our standards and we come up with a loss, and that was definitely the case at Huddersfield. So we definitely don't want to take anything away from Huddersfield. We congratulate them on their win, but at the same time, we know we didn't hit our standards, and I've got full trust and belief in this group that it will be happening again.
In terms of the debrief, and I don't expect you to share what obviously was said with the playing group, did you hold a collective meeting to sort of address it with the players as you would do normally? Did you have to speak individually to certain players about getting more effort from some members of the group?
Naturally, there are conversations you have privately, but just for a generalisation of it, you always have individual and collective meetings, but by the nature of the private meetings, what I can say to you, and I don't think it would be anything that I'm not comfy being transparent about, is the players knew themselves that we'd not hit our standard, and it were a pretty blunt and honest review. First person I've got to look at is myself, before I look at other people and their standards. I have to make sure mine's where they want to be, and I wanted to make sure I'd gone through my messages right, we got training right, and ultimately I'm head coach, and the tone for the week and the tone for the game starts with me, doesn't it? So I looked at myself first and foremost, just as every player did, and as I said, there were some valuable lessons that we took from it, and once we'd finished that review, we drew a line in the sand, and then it's all eyes on to Saturday's quarter-final.
Looking ahead at your team news for the coming week, you'll have a number of players that will be cup-tied, not only having played for Newcastle Thunder in the earlier rounds, but also Halifax, I'm guessing, in the case of David Noah-Faluma. Who else is potentially not available for you at the weekend, Mash?
You find out on Saturday, won't you? But listen, whatever team we go out with on Saturday, and I think it's been a bit sensationalise them headlines. Listen, we'll have 17 blokes out there that are going to go as hard as they can to get a victory for York Knights in the quarter-final of a Challenge Cup. I'm confident that whatever team we put out, as long as we stick true to our identity and our standards and our application, especially with defensive intent, will be a match for anyone. So we'll be putting 17 out there that's going to go hammer and tong to get a victory on Saturday.
Will Roberts and Will Dagger are two of those that are featured previously for Newcastle Thunder. So I know obviously they won't be available, but I just wanted to ask, obviously Will Dagger having that HIA protocol, what's the latest on his concussion, and how impressed were you with a first outing for Will Roberts?
Yeah, well, firstly, Will Dagger's doing fine. He's just got to go through the standard return to play protocol. So as long as there's no bumps in the road there, he'll be back available, for next week. And really impressed with Will Roberts, and really delighted, how he went, and that we could give him his debut in that game. And I think Will's going to be an absolutely outstanding halfback. He's got such a good temperament on him, very good communicator. He's got an excellent kicking game, and a very good pass selection. So he's got all the ingredients that you want, to be a top level halfback. He's obviously had a bit of bad luck with injuries over the last couple of years, but now he's stringing some games together and finding his form. I think he's showing everyone what he can do, both at Newcastle, and he showed some lovely touches in the game on Saturday as well.
And of the players that were named in the 19 but didn't make it into the 17 for Saturday, Ben Jones-Bishop with his foot, and Danny Richardson with the quad, how close are they to featuring this weekend?
Yeah, Danny's got potential. Bish will be a no-go. Bish has got a broken foot, so that'll be a few more weeks. But yeah, Danny's not going to be far off, if I'm honest with you.
And I'm guessing Sam Wood isn't close. He wasn't named in the 19 last weekend. So is he any further along?
Listen, Woody's. We're just got to be very smart with his finger. He had a compound dislocation, and. As you can imagine, if you come back a little bit too early from then it compounds and dislocates again. You're back at square one. So Woody's keen to play. He's a big part of what we do this year, and we've just got to be smart about when we do get him back playing.
You mentioned the last couple of weeks when we've spoken about King Bunny Ayawa that he's been unlucky to maybe miss out on keeping his spot in the Knights. Obviously, he played for you in that previous round against Keith Lee. Could he potentially be set for a recall? No. King won't be in the squad, but he's been going really well. He did for us, and then he's been going really well for Newcastle. But he won't be featuring on Saturday. Just one final one who's not featured yet for the Knights. Mitch Clark, what's his status at the moment? Yeah,
so Mitch got an Achilles injury in pre-season, a bit of a tendinopathy. He's had a couple of setbacks. We've had to get some injections into it just to settle it down. Now that we're finally on top of it, Mitch is running, and he's I couldn't give you a timeline on when he's back, but he's definitely making progress in the right direction. So really pleased for Mitch. A very difficult time for him, frustrating time for him as much as us, because it's not like he wanted it to flare up and be as serious as it were, but the medical team's doing a superb job with him, and he's attacking his rehab with everything he's got, and I'm hoping it'll be sooner rather than later we can introduce him back into training.
In terms of Hull KR facing them once again after that superb round one in Super League, can you potentially cause another upset again this week?
Yeah, listen, we'll be going, it's Cup Rugby, it's whoever nails at 80 minutes, isn't it? So we'll be, as I've said all along this year, we'll be going in with everything we've got. As I say, we're not idiots. We know that OKR will want to avenge that round one defeat. We know that they'll have their own aspirations, but so have we. So we're looking forward to locking arms with them again. I think it'll be an absolutely fantastic atmosphere. As I've said, it's a passionate set of fans, and so have ours. And I can't wait just to go there on Saturday and get back into it, if I'm honest with you. And just while I'm on the fans, I didn't get a chance to say it post game because I was probably a little bit annoyed with them starts too. But I thought the York fans were outstanding. I thought, it's fair to say Huddersfield's a big ground and it can feel a little bit empty of atmosphere at times. Just for how big the ground is. And I thought the York fans were absolutely superb, singing us home from minute 1 to 80. So, thank you for that too. I just wanted to get that on record.
And in terms of that, going back to that round 1 victory, what do you think you can take from that game? Obviously, you were a few members of personnel down from obviously the squad that went out on that day. But what do you think you can take from the way that you managed that? And that will no doubt give the players plenty of confidence that they've done it once. It's about just repeating it again.
Listen, we're confident in ourselves if we put our best foot forward every week, just as any team worth the salt's going to say that to you too. And we're focusing on ourselves and just where our standard needs to be as a group. We wasn't happy with what we served up last week, and we want to rectify that first and foremost so that we can look each other in the eye and look each other in the mirror knowing that we've given it everything we've got. Now if we do that, and we've got 17 blokes that are going out on the field and being the hardest working team on the field, sticking together, working together, executing our plan, it'll put us in a good spot. And OKR will be saying exactly the same. So as I said, it's a good different flavour to the league, as in anything can happen within 80 minutes, the old cliche. And we're just looking at going out there and nailing our moments over the 80 minutes. And massive respect for OKR, massive respect for them as a team. We know they've got some of the best players in the league, but I also think that we've got some absolute gems in our team as well. And I know that lads such as Paul McShane, Josh Griffin, Paul Vaughan, Jesse D, they can't wait to lock horns and go at them again.
I know you've got an immense amount of respect for Willie Peters and is a close personal friend as well. He's obviously, since you last played him, announced that he's moving on at the end of the season. And another opportunity to go toe-to-toe with one of your, I guess, quote-unquote, Super League mentors.
It's always good to go up against coaches that you're respecting, well. I think Willie's a very good coach, as you've seen with the offers that's coming his way, and it's always good to lock horns in terms of tactics and little tweaks here and there, and see how they get countered and vice versa. So it's always good fun coming up against coaches that you know well.
The final one for me, I know you're not really one for the history books, but reaching the semi-final of the Challenge Cup would be the first time the York team has been there for 42 years. Do you feel that sort of weight of history or expectation from the fans as well?
No, I think the only one that matters to me is I don't think York's won the Challenge Cup since 1931, if I'm right, in Halifax. So no one remembers who got to semi-finals and things. You only remember the winners, don't you? So that's all anyone should be focusing on is that. So listen, we've got the quarter-final in front of us. That's what we're focusing on at the moment. You'd have to be a fool not to know you're 2 games away from Wembley, but there's also the hiccup of making sure that you nail Saturday first, isn't there, and then the semi-final. So before you even worry about that, it's just eyes on Saturday and making sure we attack OKR with everything we've got.
Thanks, Mash.
Cheers. Gabriel.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just quickly reflecting on that Huddersfield game, what sort of areas have you identified that you think your team can improve on for this coming weekend?
Application and intent. If there's one thing as a coach that I always like to pride a team on, it's that we'll never get questioned on our application and intent. I just felt for a 10-minute period in that game, arguably at the start of the game, we let ourselves down on that front, and that's something that, as a standard, personally and collectively, I'll never accept, and that's probably why we're a little bit upset after the game. But listen, no one went out there with bad intentions. It's one of these things that it happened. We can't change that. We can just learn from that, and luckily I've got a group that I trust. That's got high standards for themselves, and they know that we let ourselves down in that sense, and they're desperate to get back out there and correct that. So Two things that cost no talent that make a massive difference are them two things, and that's one thing that we've always said would make sure that we will never doubted on this year.
What have you made of your team's kicking game this year? I know at the weekend, Will Roberts specifically the win because it was causing some clear problems with it, but what have you made of it across the entire season? Is it an area of the game that you've been pleased with, or do you think there's still improvements to come in that area?
I think there's still improvements, massively. It's hard when we've not had a settled spine out yet so far this year. I don't think we put the same combination out in all 7 games in the league and obviously the cups. If you look at them, we've not played the same 1, 6, 7, 9, which you do need a bit of cohesion there. But then to answer your other question in terms of placement kicking, we've also had a lot of moving parts. Whether that's Liam Harris, whether that's Danny Richardson, whether that's Nick Williams, Will Roberts, as you said, who came in, and it's hard. You want to give kickers time and peace of mind to get their eye in, and I think once we can get a stabilised spine there and a stabilised out and out kicker, I think you'll see a massive improvement there too.
You spoke on Ben Jones-Bishop and the broken foot injury that he's got. Yeah. How is he? Because that must be quite a big blow for yourselves. As he's got incredible experience at his level, and that must hurt for you as a coach to see him out injured. Potentially for a long term.
Yeah, listen, gutted for Bish personally, because I know how hard he's attacked this year so far, and how much it means to him. It's also a testament to how tough he is. To score that try he scored against Wakefield with, he had his broken foot then, and he leaps in the air to get that. He kind of tells you exactly how tough that man is there. And listen, Bish will be back. It's an unfortunate injury. It's part and parcel of our sport. We all know that. We play a really tough sport, and collision injuries will happen. And Bish is old enough to understand that as well. So he's been great, as in helping the back five just on little tweaks to the game. Individual reviews with him to pass on his knowledge and tips, which is exactly what we want from senior players like Bish. And we'll keep him busy while he's injured and doing his rehab, and he'll still be fully part of our team. And what a blessing it'll be when he is back fit to get a player of that calibre coming back. When he does.
We spoke about him briefly for the weekend as well, but John Bennison, how's he coming along?
Yeah, John's going really good. We've just integrated him back into team training this week, so he's been dropping in and out. Obviously, he's still got some markers that he's got to go through with the medical team, but he's been doing warm-up rotations, small group skill, and things like that. And then the plan is next week he'll drop back into full team training. And naturally, like any player, once they've had a prolonged period out, they need a couple of weeks training just to start feeling like game ready again, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, really looking forward to getting Johnny back fit and putting some pressure on them lads that's currently got the shirts.
Just quickly on Hull KR as well. Obviously had that first game of the season against them, which was a brilliant day for the club.
Yeah.
Just about going there, going to their stadium, they can make it very hostile for away teams. How do you go about combating that?
Listen, it's fantastic atmosphere. It depends how you look at it. I mean, I never lose sight of it's a game of rugby league at the end of the day. It can be as hostile as you want. It's not like we're doing anything other than going and playing a game of rugby. I think it'll be a fantastic atmosphere in terms of the fans are right on top of you. There'll be an intense atmosphere, but I think if I'm honest with you, I think that's something our lads will thrive off. As I say, I think the OKR fans are a passionate bunch. They'll turn out in force. The York fans will travel over and they'll be loud and proud as always. And I think it'll be a cracking atmosphere. But yeah, it's a game of rugby league, so I won't say it's going to be intimidating or hostile. It'll be just a good occasion to play a game of rugby.
And last thing from me, what do you make of their season so far? It's been a bit up and down for Hull KR.
Listen, we're 7 games in. We say we've been up and down, but I mean, I think they win 2 more games are straight back up, where they need to be if other teams slip up, aren't there? So there'll definitely be no panic on their part. You look at what they've had to deal with in terms of the travel, whether that's Vegas and all that too, and all the moving parts, peaking for a World Club Challenge, and all the stuff that comes with that. They've had a lot to deal with. They've also had to deal with the expectation shift on them. Winning all trophies changes that. I mean, I don't think there's any ounce of pressure on us whatsoever on Saturday. It's all on them. So we can go into that game just focusing on ourselves and what we want to do, whereas they've got all that to worry about. And I think they've ground out some gritty wins, and there's two ways you look at it. Either they won't be happy with how they started, but they also won't be any panic, and they know that they've got a lot more gears they can go through at the right times in the year. No problems. Chris?
Hey Mark.
How are we doing?
I know you mentioned it. I'm all right, mate. Are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
I know you mentioned it earlier, and you've still got a couple of games away. But when do you start using Wembley as an incentive for the players and for yourself, I guess?
Good question. If I'm honest with you, I think if I go back to last year's 1895 Cup, because that's the competition we're in then, we used it in the semi-final. Because then essentially the carrot is that you win this game, you're going to Wembley, aren't you? And I think it's probably then, if I'm honest with you, mate. I think the quarter final, 2 games away, but there's no point dreaming about that cup day out, because you've got another round to go after that. So it's just about nailing the 80 minutes that's put in front of you. So my honest answer to you would be probably semi-final if you get there and start using that as a bit of a motivation tool then.
Listening to you, it sounds like you've got a lot of respect for your opponents at the weekend. Are they a blueprint for a lot of clubs in Super League at a certain level that you can finish near the bottom, but it's only a couple of years of building and you can really get to the very top?
I think it's a testament to the club, right from Neil and the board to Willie to the playing group, just for putting a plan in place and executing it. Obviously, I think around 10 years ago they were relegated. For a team like OKR, obviously a massive blow, and there's two ways. You either put a plan in place to rectify it and achieve your dream on what you want to do, or you carry on feeling sorry for yourself. And the thing that I've got a massive respect on OKR for is that the people that are close to that club, who that club means something to, all put a plan in place. They had a dream, they had a vision to turn it around and stop being where they were and get right to the top. And over the next 10 years, no one can question them on that. They've executed it, they've backed it up at every single stage. It's not been a linear ride. They've had years where they've had to suck it up and finish near the bottom, such as around COVID and things, but there's been no panic, no trigger reactions. They've looked at where things need fixing up from an executive level as much as a coaching level, and then they've put them interventions in place and got what they got last year. And I think you have got to respect that. And there's nothing wrong with having healthy respect for your opposition, but listen, we'll be going out there on Saturday and we'll make them earn as respect. It's a game of rugby league, and it's whoever puts the best foot forward over that 18 minutes, isn't it, as we showed in round 1. So yeah, massive personal respect for them as a club, but at the same time I'll be making sure that I'm coaching a team that goes out there and shows them no respect till they've earned it.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Sam.
Hi, Mash, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Obviously, you've mentioned the injuries and Ben Jones Bishop being out. Is there a chance for Jack Smith to make his debut this week?
You'll have to wait and see till Saturday, won't you? But yeah, listen, I'm not saying it for any other reason. I just every team's got injuries at this stage of the year, and every team will go through a period where some of their perceived star players are out of action, either for a short period or a long period. And we're doing it at this moment, but I definitely don't want them coming out as excuses. As I've said all along, I'd rather focus on who is playing for us, and there's some outstanding players still playing for us, and there's some opportunities for players coming in. And you see many a career born through a so-called star player for whatever team getting an injury and someone taking the chance, don't you? And that's right through sport since it got incepted at professional level. So there's some lads that have earned an opportunity and put themselves in the shop window, and they've been waiting for these opportunities, and these opportunities are coming now, and I'm really excited to see them play, and if Jack is one of them, I'll be fully supportive and behind him and backing him that he will take that chance to show everyone what he can do.
That's it from me. How important Jordy Thompson been? Because obviously he's still injured, but how is he still being that big influence in the group as he would be if he was fit?
Yeah, Jordy's a leader of men. He leads through action, first and foremost. He's not one of these to give you a big speech and tell you what he's going to do. He's going to roll his sleeves up, go on a field and show you exactly what he's going to do, and he's a leader from the front. So I'm not going to lie to you, not having Jordy with you for any team, for how much he means to us, is a hammer blow, but it's also a great opportunity for others to step into them shoes that he's been doing, and we've been seeing that. I think Griff's been leading great. Griff had no right to play last week, really struggling, put his hand up and got through, I think, 70 minutes, which is a testament to him as a man still. Jesse D's been stepping up with Liam's absence and owning that captaincy. Vaughan is on the front foot as ever. Will Roberts, I thought, showed his temperament last week and showed you what he can do, and I think Paul McShane's been outstanding. Little general, still not lost that competitive edge about him, and we've still got plenty of talent out there that can direct us about and put us best foot forward.
Has Josh pulled through this week? Is he a doubt, or is he recovered from that back?
No, Josh is fine. He was just literally a muscular spasm. We've all had them, and unlucky for Josh, it flared up on the day of the game. So we got a bit of intensive treatment into him, and I think the key to it was just keeping him moving. It wasn't an injury that was going to limit him in terms of structurally. It was mainly just a pain tolerance or a movement tolerance thing, and he got through a great shift. And he didn't want to come off, but it was the wise thing to do with just how much he was seizing up. But come Monday, we're fine. These things normally clear up pretty quick, don't they, if they're just spasms, and there's no issues there with Josh.